Good morning, YouTube. It's a tough market out there if you're a new car dealer or salesman. It's hard out there for a pimp, working real hard for the rent. I've been there, I did it. I presided over the 2007 boom.
Right.
And then the recession that followed and couldn't sell cars and decided to finish college and, well, open a car dealership and failed that. But what I'm going to talk about in this video is not my history of selling cars. The cars that are taking the longest to sell, the worst selling cars in the United States so far in 2024.
This will be really interesting.
What would you guess?
Okay, so I was sitting in my beautiful silver metallic rosé Lincoln.
Yes.
And I only listen to NPR in her because that's the only thing that works. And they were saying that Tesla sales are down 8%. So I'm going to say Teslas.
It's interesting that Tesla is not on this list, maybe because of the way that they sell cars, since they don't have a dealership network.
True.
We don't really know, so it's just a direct order type of thing. They don't really have inventory. You just order a Tesla and it's delivered to you. So there's no inventory. That's how they're doing this with market day supply. Basically calculating how many cars sell a day of this particular model.
Right.
And how many are on car lots right now. And then we figure out how much the market day supply is. So if you're selling one car a day and you have 300 cars, then you have a 300-day supply of cars.
Got it. Okay.
But if you want to see for yourself the market day supply, how many cars are piled up on car lots, the best place to do it is on Autotest. And thanks to Autotest for sponsoring today's video, and good morning YouTube, as they combine all the major listing sites into one search. So let's say you're looking for a more common car, say like a Jeep Wrangler, and you want to find the best deal. You want to cast a really wide net. And Autotest does that because you can search on all the major listing sites, and say you're picky on color and options, you want a Rubicon in white. Well, Autotest will let you narrow it down on their site and then search all across the country or in a specific location or radius, and it'll show you all the listings available on a lot of the huge listing websites. A lot less tedious than going from site to site, typing in the same information over and over again, because Autotest has it all right there in one search. So the next time you're shopping for a car, use Autotest link below. I use it every single day to shop for cars. And if you know somebody that's going to be shopping for a new car soon, or they're in the process of looking, be sure to tell them about Autotest. It is linked below. Autotest, all the cars, one search. This is the worst 10, and we'll start with the best of the worst, and that is the Chrysler 300.
Okay. So that is the best-selling of the worst. That's at number 10 right now.
So they're on their way out with the Chrysler 300. Stellantis is a big struggling company when it comes to moving cars right now. There's a lot of them on this list, as you'll see in a little bit. But the market day supply is 296 days worth of these cars sitting on lots right now. 4,631 new Chrysler 300s for sale. And that's despite the fact that they're not making Chrysler 300s anymore. They're going out of production. But the ones they have, they can't sell them. So it's kind of a wise decision to quit making them.
Right. I'm surprised, though, because they look high-end. Like, they look a little more luxury, and the price tag's a little more, I was going to say swallowable.
So the average selling price is $42,948.
Right. And but they look more luxurious and they look more expensive.
But people want SUVs. They don't want cars.
Okay.
So the four-door sedan is struggling. It's near death. What few people are buying them, they're buying BMW sedans. They're buying Mercedes sedans. They're not buying big American sedans anymore. It's just a fact of life. So Stellantis struggling with that, tubing it. Really surprising though, truck on the list, the Ram 2500.
Wow.
Trucks are huge in the U.S. You would think they would be doing well, but...
Yeah, like the F-150's been the best seller forever and ever and ever.
Right.
And ever.
Well, this is the Ram 3/4 ton, so the more commercial purpose vehicle, not the normal daily driver one, or supposedly some people buy 2500s and daily drive them. But the big problem with it, the average selling price, $65,000.
That's a lot.
They're just unaffordable.
Yeah.
Way too expensive. So the market day supply is 323 cars. There is 1,525 of these for sale new in the country as of this list.
That's crazy, because I feel like a few years ago everyone was freaking about the chips and not having the chips to be able to sell the trucks, and now there's this huge backlot of trucks just overflowing because they were like, oh, we need to pump up the numbers, everyone wants them, and then all of a sudden kind of the pandemic slowed down and everything changed, and now there's this backlog of trucks.
Yes, so Stellantis rapidly increased the prices of their cars because of the crazy demand. And what few people did buy, what was available during that time, are completely buried in these cars. We've talked about negative equity in previous videos. But right now, it's dealers that are buried in Ram 2500. So hopefully, if you're going to buy one, you get a deep, deep discount. Now, Stellantis continues to be on this list. They have half the cars on this list. So the next one is the Jeep Grand Wagoneer.
Huh, interesting, because it's like, I saw them and I love the old school Grand Wagoneers and the look of them. And I was thinking, like, why do you need to name it the Grand Wagoneer? Why can't it be its own thing?
No wood paneling on the outside, so I was not interested in it, even though I was a big Wagoneer fan. Owned maybe half a dozen of the old woody Wagoneers, the fall wood.
You could get aftermarket wood.
Oh, they make it. Yes, they make it, but it doesn't look good. They didn't make a blocky enough looking Wagoneer to where it looks good.
Right.
So I don't care.
Right.
Now they're not going to have a V8 offered at all. It's just like a Hurricane twin turbo straight six.
Yeah,
so it's tough.
I will tell you, when I see them on the road, I notice them right away.
Right. But you could get a Denali or an Escalade with an LS-based V8.
Right.
And then Ford, they have their EcoBoost V6 that people seem to like with Fords. I personally don't. But here's the crazy part. The average selling price of the Grand Wagoneer, now there's the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer, so this is the top tier, $101,000.
Who has that to spend on a Grand Wagoneer?
So that's why they are sitting. That is just ridiculously ridiculous. Like, you can get a nice, like, fully loaded Escalade. There's so many other options other than the Grand Wagoneer.
I love how you say a fully loaded Escalade. Well, of course you could get a fully loaded Escalade.
Right, there's just
you?
so many, and the quality ratings of these are terrible as far as them being, I think, on the list of some of the most unreliable cars as well. Yeah, so their market supply is 323 days, tied with the Ram 2500, 3,500 for sale in the country right now.
Okay, that's crazy, and you can definitely haggle on one of those right now because they're trying to get rid of them.
Well, they're just sitting on them. That's the thing. A lot of dealers, they're letting their lots fill up again, and they're not ready to take these big hits, these big losses yet, because then it would show a loss in the books. As long as that car's sitting there, it's not a realized loss yet. So say you're going to lose 20 grand selling a vehicle, you don't want to show your boss that on the books.
Right.
So you just don't do it. And it just sits and ages out. And that's the big issue with these. So next on the list, still Stellantis. Dodge Charger.
And so this is another kind of retro-made car, made to look like the old school ones, like the Wagoneer, which has almost fallen out of fashion. It was a big trend to do that back in the 2000s, right? And now it's just kind of fallen out of style. Shares
the platform with the Chrysler 300. So the Dodge Charger came out about 15 years ago when Chrysler was still a part of Mercedes. So it was a re-engineered Mercedes, basically. So really good chassis, but it's been a long time since they've redone these, and very long in the tooth, and everybody that has wanted one has bought one by now. They've made so many. There's so many cheap ones that are a few $1,000s to, you know, the crazy Hellcat Red Eye Chargers, so they can't sell them. So there is a 326-day supply and 30,000 listed for sale right now.
Wait, you said 30,000?
30,000. So they're selling a lot, but they have so many leftovers that they're just piled up on lots.
What? 30,000?
Yeah. Average transaction price, $43,717.
And what number are we on the list?
So that was the first 4. We have 6 more to go.
And it gets worse. Okay.
It gets worse. Number 5 is the Jaguar F-Type.
Jaguar. Okay.
Do you know what the F-Type is? I have to Google it to make sure I'm right. What the F-Type is?
That's why I just said, okay, I'm waiting for you to tell me.
Like, this is how I don't pay attention. The Jaguar F-Type is the 2-seat sports car one.
Okay.
Yes. Sort of the reimagining of the E-Type, a very pretty car.
Right.
I knew this pretty sure, but I wanted to make sure because the names, it's kind of, it gets confusing with these. But it's hard to sell a sports car right now, and they are very expensive. Average transaction price, $100,259 for a Jag.
Wow.
You can get a lot cooler sports cars than a Jag for $100 grand.
Right. That's, No.
So people aren't buying it. 329-day supply, 754 advertised for sale. So they don't sell very many, and there's a lot stacked up for 700 cars to be a 300-plus day supply.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty crazy. So next on the list is the Volvo C40.
Right.
Which, once again, is not the little car. I believe that is the little car. This is where I need Doug, because he keeps up on the new car stuff better than me. Oh no, the C40 is now a Recharge Pure Electric. But yeah, electric cars have been struggling to sell.
Right.
And I know Volvo's had some quality issues. I think that was one of the cars on our bad quality list was Volvo, where they're doing the new electric stuff and it's not working, crazy infotainment issues. So yeah, the C40, average selling price $58,658. EV demand just isn't what they thought it would be, and it's just so much more expensive than what people are willing to pay, so they sit. A 385-day supply, 1,643 for sale.
Whoa, okay.
But when's the last time you thought, man, I want a Volvo?
Well, and then their logo, now and forever, will kind of put me off because it's the male symbol. So I'm kind of like, well, you know, you don't even want me to drive it, right?
Yeah, I don't know what Volvo can do to save themselves. They just keep chugging along, but
they need Matthew McConaughey to drive one and do a commercial.
I suppose. So the next on the list is another electric car, the Mustang MachE, the SUV electric Mustang.
List?
It is, and they've recently dumped the prices on them, so I imagine it'll be updated here soon in the next one, because sales have gone up several-fold because they've lowered the price, and now they're losing a bunch of money on each of these cars to move them. But as of this reporting, before they dumped the prices, the MachE was not moving. The average selling price, $54,000. Okay. Market day supply, 404 days. There were 22,730 for sale in the country.
What? And is that fully electric, not a hybrid?
That's fully hybrid. That's fully hybrid. That's fully electric.
Okay.
Totally electric. Nobody was buying it. It was too expensive. Right. It didn't work. People are buying Teslas instead. If they're going to buy an electric car, they were buying a Tesla. It had longer range. It's more cool to own that. The MachE, it's a Mustang. What is it? So yeah. But they dumped the prices, and now they're starting to move them. I think
they look cool. I appreciate that. When they came out, everyone's head was just snapping off when it would go by. Because you're like, what is that? What is that? What is that?
Right. So next on the list, we're going back to a normal car, and with Stellantis. So half the cars on here are Stellantis, you know, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. This one is the new Dodge Hornet, which is the little SUV.
Huh. Wait, can you pull it up?
Yeah, I know. I've seen a few, and they all have rental stickers on them. That's the only people I think buy them.
A retro name
it's a retro name, but it's just an SUV that looks a little bit like a Charger.
Right. Okay. So it's a crossover SUV, a smaller crossover SUV, it looks
smaller,
like.
Yes.
The Dodge Hornet.
Economical, but nobody's buying it because why would you buy it? Well, you buy a Toyota RAV4 for the same money. You buy a Honda CR-V or an HRV.
I mean, it's cool. You got that Mopar feel to it, you know, but...
They're Italian. No, they don't have that old school American feeling at all. It's no, there's no appeal to it whatsoever. And they're expensive. Average transaction price, $41,905. Buy a Honda, buy a Toyota, buy a, you know, even like the Chevys are much cheaper. That Blazer, they call it a Blazer, but terrible. That one, 443-day supply, so well over a year. Yeah. And 12,820 for sale in the country right now.
Someone's getting fired for that design. All right.
Yeah. So next on the list is German luxury, Audi SQ8.
Really?
They have the RS7 wagon that they sell instantly. But if you want the big honking SUV...
Huge. Massive.
Can't sell it.
Doesn't even fit in your garage. It's so big.
They're not that big, but it's just very... What's huge is the price tag, $110,000.
Wow. Okay. I mean, they are very luxurious inside, so I understand that price tag. I'd rather go there than the Grand Wagoneer.
Right. But you pull up in the SQ8, you pull up in a new G-Wagon. That's the same price. Which one you buying?
Dang, okay, that made it a lot easier.
Yeah, the G-Wagon, instantly. And that's what everybody wants, that's what everybody's buying. There's other SUV options. The luxury SUV market is very congested. And even with Audi itself, you have the Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6, Q7, Q8. With how many different SUVs?
Right.
And it doesn't make it, you're like $110,000, but this one looks exactly the same for $60,000. I'm going to get the Q5, the Q7. Right. Yeah. So that makes it a 521-day market supply. 521 days.
That's a lot. That's
1,609 for sale in the country.
I mean, if you're in the market for luxury SUV, there's where I would go and haggle them and present them the numbers, and they're going to have to come down in the price.
Right. So at the top of the list,
Okay, so this is the number one.
This is number one.
Least selling car, worst selling car in America in 2024.
Right.
Drum roll.
772 market day supply. No. With 700 for sale in the country. So not that many.
And it can't be a prowler because they don't make them
They
anymore.
are unsellable cars. And I never would have guessed this. It is the BMW X2.
Really?
The small BMW SUV.
Two-seater? No.
No,
SUV.
it's a normal four-door SUV. Here, I'll pull it up for you. It is just a jelly bean, ugly, barely a BMW, like a Mercedes CLA, front-wheel drive based. Wow. It's just a cheapy-cheap BMW.
Does it have a tiny little engine in it?
Correct.
Okay.
Little four-cylinder that has a bad reputation. This is a cheap, kind of low build quality economy car in Europe that's brought to the United States and marketed as something very expensive for what it is. Yeah, average transaction selling price $39,836. You go up to the X3, which isn't a whole lot more, and it is a completely different world in quality. So nobody, like a Mazda, the Mazda C30 or 50 we test drove feels like a better quality car than this. Like, it's stupid, and nobody is buying it.
No, and I don't see them on the road anywhere, and that's why they're on the top of this list.
Right. So what do you think is the quickest selling car in America?
The quickest selling car? Well, I'm going to have to say the Cybertruck. Because everyone wants one right now, right?
Once again, Tesla does not report their sales because it's a dealership.
I'm in so much trouble right now. What is it?
So it has to be cars that have dealerships. So the fastest selling car is the RAV4 Hybrid.
The RAV4.
Toyota RAV4 Hybrid is like the king daddy of hybrids if you're in California or anywhere else, because it's a small SUV that gets 40s in the mile per gallon, and they're very affordable, $39,000.
Right.
The market day supply is 5.
Whoa, okay.
5 days.
So then they're probably selling over MSRP right now, right?
They have been traditionally. You can sometimes find a deal at MSRP, but a lot of them command over.
Right. Dang.
So there you go.
Have you owned one of those?
A RAV4 Hybrid? No, I've owned some RAV4s in my dealership days, but that's just a car you buy because you don't care about cars. You just want to get to your place with the best fuel economy, something that's going to last a long time and feels pretty good quality-wise. Like it's just like I need a car, this makes sense.
Right. Well, and the hybrid makes sense because it's the best of both worlds because they still haven't perfected electric. So you have a little bit of both and it works and it's a good-looking car. So I get why it's flying off the shelves.
Yes, agreed. Toyota has no problem selling cars. Stellantis, whoa, it's not looking good.
No. I still like the Wagoners though, if you panel them up the right way. A woody Wagoner.
Thank you so much for watching.
I like the wood.